So I went out today, the bite was slow. I managed to pick up a couple, but I really wanted to do a catch and cook. So I went out and got a couple fish, I'll go ahead and share that with you. The bite was slow. I did share, a little bit of tactics and techniques, as to how I approach them during, low water conditions, Yeah, man, enough talking, and yeah, we'll see you out there. All right, we're out here today. We're gonna try for flounder. So the water is kind of clean, a little better than what it's been. The wind's not blowing too bad. Hopefully we stand a good chance. The major's here in about an hour or two. Tide's gonna be coming in all day. And with that being said, my bait of choice, once these flounders start showing up, my bait of choice would have to be the brawler made by Fish Bites. Man, it's something about these 5-inch brawlers. The tail stays on, and to me, it's very enticing. Right now, I got a quarter-ounce trout eye jig head. I love these hooks. I'll either use this, or sometimes I'll use an owner beast hook, screw lock, which is an 1/8 ounce. I'll go lighter. Plus, it's weedless, and it works great around rock jetties and snags. But for right now, we're going to throw the trout eye. What I also do when I'm jigging, just about every time I jig, I use a loop knot, unless it's, a Texas rig of some sort. So enough talking. Let's get out here and see what we can do. Hopefully we can snag a few. Right now I'm hitting the flats. Man, it's been a while since the waters actually look like this. The wind's not blowing too hard. I'm gonna try these flats right now because there might be trout up in here. Usually I just give it a gentle pop, just a good 1-2, and I'll keep it. There we go, already. He grabbed it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we came out here for. And you know what it is. You know what it is. Yep. That's what we came out here for. I told you. Going in the box. That's what we came out with. As I was saying, this is my go-to. The brawler, baby. It's hard to beat the brawler. I mean, that took no time. That was the first cast, guys. I'm not a sponsor by any means, but I swear by these lures. It's flounder candy. Flounder candy. Hopefully we can get a few more. And so I'm fishing 10-pound braid to 10-pound fluorocarbon. And I know that seems kind of light, but it works for me. I've caught some big reds on this 10-pound braid that never snap. Sometimes it knots up on you, but man, when it works, it works. It's much smoother on the reel. You get further casting distance. It just, I feel like you get better presentation as well as a result of light tackle. Maybe if I was around structure to where I was fishing for big bull reds or something, there was structure and, I had to kind of work it that way. Yeah, I would go up in, diameter just to pull it off the structure, because those reds will try and wrap you around some structure. So yeah, I'm fishing with a 6'4" medium power, extra fast action, made by Avidex, St. Croix. These are actually discontinued. I got 2 of them, identical. And I love these rods. Like I said, it's extra fast action, medium power. So the tip is stiff. It's a short rod, so you get good accuracy. You compromise casting distance a little bit, but this is the perfect jigging rod for flounder and speckled trout. I love a short rod. I love a short, fast rod tip for jigging flounder. It's very sensitive, and you get a good hook set because it's an extra fast tip. Right off that dock, there's a deep hole, so it drops, and it has to, because you have all those bigger boats that sit up in there. There's a nice little drop off that pier. On this low tide conditions, when the water's low, man, if you can find docks that are adjacent to deep water, because you do have the channel running through there, but What's also good is it drops right at the end of that pier. There's a nice drop. Throw along that pier right there. Like I said, it gets deep. But we're gonna work this pier. Yeah, I'm kind of close to it. That's what I want. I want to stay in that strike zone. You know, I could even get closer actually. Like I said, we're just working along that pier. You see how I'm kind of close to the pier? That's what you want, because if the flounder is staged up, a lot of times they're right along the pier. So the probabilities of you actually snagging into a flounder go up if you stay parallel to that pier, because you're actually in the strike zone. So that's what you want. Anytime you fish these grass lines, anytime you fish this pier, you want to stay parallel as much as you can. You know, that's the ticket. You want to go as slow as you can. Like, I don't even have the trolling motor on. I'm actually drifting. The only time, you know, I'm actually going with the drift. So the only time I'll kick that trolling motor on for a second is when I start getting too close to the pier. I'll kind of come off it. But yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to stay in that strike zone. Not one bite. Not one bite through here. All right, so the game plan now is to fish these docks. A couple docks over here I want to try. Got him. Got him. Got me another one. As you can see, we got another one on the fish bites. Brawler. We're going to cut this onion, right? We're going to save the peels, because we're going to use it for our shrimp stock. Get her good and diced up. There you go. All right, so now that we have the vegetables for the sauce, the vegetables for the stock, we have our parsley, we have our green onions. Now we are going to start peeling the shrimp, baby. 26 count shrimp on average, you know, nice, beautiful white shrimp. And we have the shells. So that right there is going to go in with the vegetables I just cut. And this is one of the first things I do during the process. Why? Because it takes long, you know. The longer you cook this stock, the better off you're going to be. So you want that thing just to simmer, at least for an hour, a couple hours, you know, the longer the better. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get to it. So here's the shrimp stock. We're going to throw some cracked black in there. Got a couple bay leaves. And bam, there you go. Applewood bacon. And there you have it. Good old thick cut applewood bacon. We're gonna cook that bacon on a low heat, you know, because the low heat lets it render. You want that fat to render. So the lower you can cook that bacon, you know, it'll give it more time for that fat to render properly. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna get that bacon out of there, right? And we're going to keep that fat, but we're going to get that bacon out of there. Throw some of that Cajun seasoning, and then bam. into the grease, baby. There you go. Stir that in there. Now you want to go ahead. You don't want to cook that shrimp all the way. But you want to throw a little more Cajun seasoning in there. Yeah, there you go. Keep stirring that in there. Scrape the bottom. All that rendered fat in there. The same thing. So we cooked the shrimp into the rendered fat after we seasoned it really good with some Creole seasoning. Now we're taking the shrimp out. We're leaving the scrapings from the shrimp, the juice from the shrimp along with that fat in there. I'll throw your vegetables in there and all that rendered fat. Get that in there real good. So that's all the rendered fat, the scrapings. And now you got your veggies, your shallots, your green peppers, your garlic. Now we'll add some flour in that bad boy. You're just gonna keep scraping it in there, right, just like that. Now what we're gonna do is add some butter. If you're on any kind of diet, I advise you not to follow this recipe. But we're gonna stir that butter up in there. Scrape that pan. You see we're scraping it. Oh, that's all goodness. Trust me, it's not burnt. Now we're going to deglaze this pan. You see we're going to get all the scrapings from the bottom, all that good flavor. We're going to deglaze it with some Chardonnay. Yeah, you hear that? And it's very important, while that Chardonnay's in there, just scrape it. And you're going to cook all the alcohol out. This is the deglazing part. This is how you get all the stuff off the bottom of the pan, right? Get that, all that good loving. Oh yeah, baby. And then once you get that pan and that alcohol cooks, you don't stop stirring here. You deglazing the pan. You get all that goodness. There you go. Yeah. And you don't stop stirring, right? Let that alcohol. Yeah. Once that alcohol starts to cook out, there, it's time for that good old shrimp stock. Look at that. There you go. Now we got the shrimp stock in there. All that goodness coming off the bottom of the pan. We'll add a little bit of cream. Look at that cream rolling off of there like that. Boy! Add a little bit of Worcestershire. Not a lot. Stir that in there. Add some more of that Cajun seasoning, right? A little bit of cracked black. And just stir all that in there like that. Get a good generous amount of Tonys in there. And just keep stirring that bad boy. Remember that goodness? Remember that bacon? That shrimp? Remember that? Oh yeah. That's right. Get that in there. What you want to do now, you want to just let it simmer. Let it simmer for about an hour. Not high, but on very low, as low as you can get it for about an hour. Let that shrimp, bacon, let everything just incorporate in there and do its thing, you know. And there's your sauce, yes. 2 cups of that, which is our shrimp stock. Yes, I'm not using chicken broth. I'm going to use shrimp stock for the grits. I use it for the sauce as well. You know, there's no sense in using chicken broth, considering I have stock from the shrimp that I'm already putting into the sauce. So we're going to keep it seafood here, you know what I mean? Now, we're going to throw some milk in there. All right, we're on a rolling boil. 1.5, about that much, about 1.5 cups right there. And I turn it down just so that bottom don't burn as I'm putting the grits in there. You know what I mean? Either way, you're going to turn it down to low heat. You know, you want to slowly throw the grits in there. Yeah, now you want to let that just cook on low heat. And you want to stir it every now and then. About 15, 20 minutes. On low as you can go. I'm going to put a lid on it, but you want to stir it. You know, these aren't quick grits, so you want to stir it every now and then. 15, 20 minutes. We're going to let that go. Got some smoked Gouda going in these grits. It's fresh smoked Gouda. It's going to be very good, like, you know what I mean? It's going to be creamy. All right, get on tea. Turn that flame off real quick. So what we're going to do now Try not to make a mess. You know, it's not creamy grits unless you add some cream. You know what I mean? Add some butter. Add some Creole seasoning. I'm going to take some of that fresh smoked Gouda. We'll throw some of that Gouda up in there like that. Stir that in there real good, that butter. All that goodness. Oh yeah. And this, my friend, is creamy. Creamy. Got the smoked Gouda, fresh smoked Gouda in there. Got some seafood stock, a little shrimp stock in there to keep that seafood flavor going. Got some milk. And then we finish it off with heavy cream, you know, just to keep it creamy. That really makes all the difference in the world. Look at that. Look how creamy that is. Huh? All right, so here we have the flounder fillets, some of the flounder fillets, and then right here we have the good old blackened seasoning. Chef Paul, that's all I use really, you know what I'm saying? So what I do is I take that fish and I just go all like that on one side, just like that. See that? I like to cover that whole fish just like that. And there you go. There it is. And I do one side just because, you know, I do it heavy, but it gives it a true blacken once it hits that cast iron. Let it cook for a little bit, you know. We turn that thing over, let it cook for a minute, get it good and hot. See, she's smoking good. And what I'll do, always have a fish back. Look, check that out. Beautiful. Look at that. Huh? And after you flip it, you want to go under it and you want to move it, because if you don't, once you flip it, it's liable to stick. I'll go ahead and tilt the pan. I like to baste it with that as it's blackening. I like to do all baste like that. You see that? Yeah, a little basting action right there. Let that butter get there. Yeah, she's smoking. Now what I'll do is I'll take a small plate right there. We're going to set it aside. Now we're going to do our shrimp. Now we got that. Now it's time for that blackened shrimp. This is the actual blackening part of the shrimp. This is the true blackened part. This is the more decorative shrimp. This is the presentation. This is the 16 count shrimp. Butterflied them. I patted them down in blackening season. We're going to blacken really good, and they're going to go on the dish. And there you go. Good old butterflied. Look at that. Look at that. 16 count butterflied shrimp. Good and blackened right there. Seasoned very heavily. Well on both sides. Cast iron skillet. And you're just acquiring flavor. So just like when I got done blackening the fish, I didn't clean the pan. I kept the scrapings and all that, you know. Kept it all in there. You know, all that's flavor. Look at that shrimp. Yeah, that shrimp. What's that shrimp curls? You see that shrimp curling? You see how it curled? There it is. That's your indication the shrimp is done. It'll curl up just like that. Look how beautiful that shrimp is. All right, and this is going to be our plate, man. It's going to be banging, I'm trying to tell you. It's going to be so good. There's a sauce right there that's been cooking on low. Look at that. Yeah, buddy, look at that. Grits on the plate like that, baby. Put a decent amount of grits. And then we'll put a little bit of sauce around it. You know, some of the shrimp and bacon on there like that. Now we'll take a good piece of filet like that. See that? Look at that, huh? We'll throw some shrimp on there like that. And there you have it. Some creamy shrimp and grits.